The first time Emma saw the house across the lake, she felt a strange sense of curiosity. She had recently moved to the small village of Willow Creek to work as a teacher at the local school. The village was peaceful, surrounded by green hills and tall trees. A beautiful lake rested at its center, reflecting the sky like a giant mirror. Every morning, Emma walked along the lakeside path before school. The fresh air helped her clear her mind and prepare for the day ahead. One morning, as the sun slowly rose above the water, she noticed a large house on the opposite shore. It stood alone among old oak trees. The house looked beautiful, but something about it felt sad. The windows were always closed. The garden was overgrown. No smoke came from the chimney. No lights appeared at night. It seemed abandoned, yet somehow it did not feel empty. For several weeks, Emma continued her morning walks. Each day she glanced toward the house. Each day the mystery grew. One afternoon, she asked one of the older villagers about it. "The house across the lake," the woman said quietly. "Yes," Emma replied. "Does anyone live there?" The woman paused. "An old man named Mr. Thomas." "Really? I never see him. Most people don't." The woman looked toward the lake. "He has lived there for many years." "Alone?" "Yes." Emma waited for more, but the woman simply smiled and changed the subject. The answer only made Emma more curious. Who was Mr. Thomas? Why did he live alone? Why did nobody talk about him? As summer passed, Emma became well known in the village. Her students loved her. The parents respected her. Life was peaceful. Still, whenever she looked across the lake, the silent house remained in her thoughts. One Saturday morning, Emma decided to explore. A narrow road circled around the lake and eventually reached the other side. The walk took nearly an hour. As she approached the property, she felt nervous. The house appeared even larger up close. Its stone walls were covered with climbing vines. The garden was filled with wild flowers and tall grass. Nature seemed to have taken over. Emma walked slowly to the front gate. Before she could knock, she heard a voice behind her. "Can I help you?" She turned quickly. An elderly man stood a few feet away. His gray hair moved gently in the wind. His eyes looked kind but tired. "You must be Mr. Thomas," Emma said. The man nodded. "And you must be the new teacher." Emma was surprised. "You know who I am." Mr. Thomas smiled. "This is a small village. News travels fast." Emma laughed softly. "That is true." For a moment neither spoke. Then Mr. Thomas opened the gate. "Would you like some tea?" Emma hesitated only briefly. "Yes, I would." Inside, the house felt very different from what she expected. It was old but clean. Books filled the shelves. Family photographs covered the walls. A piano stood near the window. Everything seemed frozen in time. Mr. Thomas prepared tea while Emma admired the photographs. Many showed the same young woman. She had bright eyes and a warm smile. In some pictures, she stood beside Mr. Thomas. In others, she held a small child. Emma noticed something unusual. Every photograph seemed decades old. There were no recent pictures. Mr. Thomas returned carrying 2 cups. "You noticed the photographs?" Emma nodded. "She looks happy." Mr. Thomas smiled sadly. "She was your wife?" "Yes." They sat near the window overlooking the lake. For a while, they spoke about ordinary things. The weather, the village, the school. Eventually, Emma asked carefully, "Do you still have family nearby?" Mr. Thomas looked toward the lake. For several seconds, he remained silent. Then he answered, "No." Something in his voice made Emma regret asking. But surprisingly, he continued, "My wife passed away many years ago. I'm sorry." "Thank you." "And the child in the photographs?" Mr. Thomas stared at his tea. "My daughter." Emma waited. "She died when she was 10. The room became very quiet. Emma felt her heart sink. "I'm so sorry." Mr. Thomas nodded. "The accident happened near the lake. Outside, sunlight sparkled on the water. It seemed impossible that something so beautiful could hold such painful memories." After that, he continued softly, "Nothing was ever the same." Emma understood why the house felt sad. It wasn't abandoned. It was carrying years of grief. Over the following months, Emma visited Mr. Thomas regularly. They shared tea and long conversations. She learned that he had once been a respected musician. His wife had loved painting. His daughter had dreamed of becoming a writer. The house was filled with reminders of their lives. Paintings remained on the walls. Stories remained in notebooks. Music remained inside the piano. Yet nobody else ever came to see them. One rainy afternoon, Emma asked a question she had been wondering about for weeks. "Why stay here?" Mr. Thomas looked around the room. "Because they are still here." Emma frowned slightly. He smiled. "Not physically." He touched one of the photographs. "But every memory lives in this house." Emma understood. To leave would feel like losing them again. As autumn arrived, the leaves around the lake turned gold and orange. One evening, Mr. Thomas showed Emma a locked wooden box. "I want you to have this someday." Emma looked surprised. "What is it?" "My family story." Inside were letters, journals, photographs, and unfinished writings. Why me? Because you listened. Emma felt deeply honored. Months passed. Winter came. Snow covered the village. The lake shimmered beneath pale sunlight. Mr. Thomas grew weaker. His walks became shorter. His voice became softer. But his kindness never changed. One snowy afternoon, Emma arrived with groceries. The house felt unusually quiet. Mr. Thomas sat beside the window, looking across the frozen lake. He smiled when he saw her. "I've been waiting." They talked for hours, about life, about loss, about memories. As evening approached, Mr. Thomas handed her the wooden box. "It's time." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Please don't talk like that." He smiled gently. "We all have our season." A few days later, the village received sad news. Mr. Thomas had passed away peacefully in his sleep. The entire village attended his funeral. Many people spoke about his kindness. Others shared stories Emma had never heard before. For the first time, she realized how deeply he had touched the lives of those around him. After the funeral, Emma returned to the house. Everything remained exactly as before. The books, the piano, the photographs, the memories. She sat by the window and opened the wooden box. For hours she read letters and journals. She laughed at happy moments. She cried at painful ones. Slowly, she discovered something unexpected. Mr. Thomas had spent years writing the story of his family, not for himself, for future generations, for anyone willing to listen, for anyone who needed hope. Over the next year, Emma carefully organized the writings. She shared them with the village. People were deeply moved. Soon, visitors began coming to learn about the family who had once lived across the lake. The silent house slowly came back to life. Children visited. Artists painted there. Writers found inspiration there. Music once again filled its rooms. The place that had been frozen by grief became a place of remembrance and love. One spring morning, Emma stood outside the house. Flowers bloomed across the garden. Birds sang in the trees. The lake sparkled beneath the sun. For a moment, she imagined Mr. Thomas standing beside her, watching, smiling, satisfied. His family had not been forgotten. Their stories continued to live on. And Emma finally understood something important. People may leave this world, but the love they give, the memories they create, and the stories they leave behind can remain forever. Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to listen.